Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really cool tool that basically gives you a full-blown database that runs right on your computer. And the best part? No server needed.
So let me ask you a question. What if you could run complex queries, analyze huge amounts of data, and manage entire databases without ever having to set up a complicated, clunky server?
Well, that is exactly the promise of SQLite. It acts just like a huge, sophisticated database, but it literally lives inside one single file on your computer. This makes it incredibly fast, super portable, and honestly, just a breeze to get started with.
Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to get you all geared up and ready to have your very first conversation with your data.
Getting set up is a pretty simple four-step process. You're just going to head to the site, grab the tools, and unzip them. But that last step, step 4, that one's the real key. Adding the folder to your system's path is what tells your computer where to find this new program, no matter where you are in the command line.
A good way to think about the path is like your computer's own personal address book, but for programs. When you type a command like SQLite 3, your system just flips through that address book to find where it lives. If it's not in there, your computer has no idea where to look.
So if you go to run the SQLite 3 command and you see that dreaded command not found error, don't panic. It's not broken, I promise. It's almost always just a sign that you need to go double-check that your new tools folder is listed correctly in your path. A quick little update there, and you should be good to go.
All right, so the tools are installed. Now we need some data to actually play with, right? We're going to use a classic sample database to get our hands dirty.
We're going to be using something called the Chinook database. It's this perfect little playground that's set up like a digital music store. It's got tables for artists, albums, tracks, customers, kind of like an old-school iTunes library. It's perfect for learning.
Okay, this is it. We've got our tool, we've got our data. It's time to fire up that command line and start the conversation. This is where the magic really starts to happen.
And this right here is the command that opens the door. It's so simple. You just type the name of the program, SQLite 3, and then you give it the name of the database file you want to talk to, in our case, chinook.sqlite. Hit enter, and you are in. So now that we're connected, we can actually start talking to our data. I want you to think of this as a live Q&A session. You ask the questions, and the database gives you the answers, instantly.
So let's start with a really simple, high-level question. We'll just ask the database, hey, what kind of information are you holding? The command for that is just .tables.
And boom, just like that, it spits out a complete list of all the different data categories it's managing for us. We can see everything from albums and artists, all the way to customers and invoices.
Okay, that's cool, but what's in those tables? Let's get a little more specific. We can ask for the detailed structure or the schema of any of these. Let's check out the albums table with the .schema command.
And there it is. The database just hands us the exact blueprint for that table. It shows us every single column, the album ID, the title, the artist ID, and even tells us what kind of data is supposed to be in each one. It's literally like looking at the architectural plans for our data.
We can even go one level deeper. Want to know a secret to making databases fast? It's all about indexes. They're like the index in the back of a book. They make finding things way faster. And yeah, we can ask about those too.
And yep, there they are. It tells us exactly which indexes are being used for the albums table, which gives us a little peek under the hood at how it's optimized for speed. So seeing all this data on the screen is great and all, but what if you actually want to do something with it, like save it to a file? Well, one of the most powerful features here is that you can export your results directly. It's a really simple three-part dance. First, you use the .output command to tell SQLite, hey, send everything to this file called albums.txt. Second, you run your query like normal. And third, this is important, you type .output again by itself to send the results back to your screen. And that's all there is to it. The entire list of album titles that your query found, it's now sitting safe and sound in a brand new text file, ready for you to use however you want. It makes your data totally portable. So let's just take a step back and look at what you just did. In just a couple of minutes, you've gone from nothing to having a real working process. You installed the tools, you connected to a real database, you explored how it's built, and you even pulled data out of it. That is a huge step. Everything we've done here is really just scratching the surface, which leaves us with one final big thought. Now that you have the power to talk directly to your data, what questions are you going to ask it? And what amazing insights are just waiting for you to find?